Thank you for joining us tonight for Hudson Playoff Soccer. Brian Moe's here. I will not be joined tonight by Chuck Bublitz. He could not be here for tonight's fantastic match here as the third-ranked Hudson Raiders, will take on the 11th-ranked DC Evergreens. DC Everest coming from near Wausau, Wisconsin, in the white jerseys, and Hudson on the border of Wisconsin and Minnesota wearing the navy jerseys and the white shorts. It is a chilly night here tonight in Hudson, hovering around 30 degrees. Wind chill is very low, as expected, as we are entering towards the winter months, and playoff soccer is upon us. The first round has already been completed. DC Everest beat Stevens Point, the 6th seed, 1-0 in overtime in the last round, and Hudson more of a beat down of their last opponent, the Spartans, 5-0. In net tonight for the Hudson Raiders, it'll be Corey Denning. He has been a rock at the goalkeeper spot for Hudson so far this season, leading them to a Big Rivers Conference title, and he's looking to continue that success here tonight. Lots of fans showing up here tonight. There's even a little DC Everest section down there in the front row. And the Evergreens looking to knock off Hudson here tonight, as Hudson will start here on defense, as the Evergreens will try and get the offense going early here tonight at Raider Field. The Evergreens break their formation, and they are ready to start. So for DC Everest, they will only play one forward here tonight, it looks like, as they have plenty of midfielders and defenders, and obviously their goalkeeper back there, number 0, Ty Treader, senior for this Evergreens team, been a very good contributor for DC Everest, and like Corey Denning, will look to continue. And we're off here tonight. DC Everest using their back end to start their offense. Moving it around from left to right. Now they're starting to move it up towards their midfielders. Hudson trying to poke it away, and Colton Prater there on the ball. DC Everest, though, wins it back, but it rolls out of bounds for a Hudson throw-in. So only 30 seconds in, and Hudson is already playing it close to DC Everest's net. They have been a fantastic offensive team so far this season, as Sam Ross there supplies it to Tygo Kelly. O'Kelly there looking to start something on the right side. He'll hit it right to a DC Everest defender. Right place at the right time there for the Evergreens, and now they look to start their offense. But Hudson will delay that process as Phillipson now fighting for the ball. He takes it. Nice footwork. He moves inside, and DC pokes it away. Good move there, and Tygo Kelly will hit it out of bounds for a DC Everest throw-in. So now on the sidelines, number 7 here for DC Everest, Tamarat Knutson, and he will lose the ball. Colton Prater with it. That's in his range. It's been his range all season long, and he gives it over to Luke Johnson. Now over on the left side, good ball there to Paul Phillipson, and Phillipson will race for it. Can't quite get there. It'll be a goal kick for the Evergreens. Good offensive production here in the first 2 minutes of play for the Hudson Raiders, and DC has looked a little bit uncomfortable so far tonight. DC there boots it towards the 32-yard line, and Colton Prater there with a nice header, and now Sam Ross has the ball in his possession. He'll move it upwards, looking for Paul Phillipson. He'll find Paul Phillipson. Fantastic ball to the right flank. Phillipson crosses it in, and it is sniffed out by DC Everest, and now the Evergreens have been holding strong on defense, even though with Hudson's continuous pressure. Prater now with it again. It's Prater against the world right now as he kicks it over to Johnson. And Johnson trying to supply one of his teammates with the ball. And that goes awry as DC Everest with some physical play. Cole Olber there moving it around the back end, giving it to his teammates, and now Johnson has it. Johnson there using his speed to create space for himself. He's got plenty of room. He gives it up to Connor Johnson. Johnson now moving it around. And Prater now has it. He's a dangerous man with the ball in his feet. He shoots it on net, and it is saved by Treader, the goalkeeper here for the DC Evergreens. Or DC Everest, excuse me. So Kelly there trying to win the ball. DC Everest will win it though for him, and a really bad ball there from Tamarat Knutson, looking for his teammate there, Cole Breck. And now that one is booted all the way down. Phillipson gonna use his speed. Come on, Paul, get there. He will. Great, fantastic run there from Paul Phillipson, but just a little bit too far outside, and he taps it out of bounds. So now DC Everest has another opportunity to get it towards midfield, and last time they couldn't really get any offense going, but they'll look here to, start some offense here on the second time. Booting it towards the two captains in the midfield, and they head it right back to the defenders. And now DC Everest moving it around the back end. They've been really conservative so far. Now they're moving it up the flank. Moving it back once again. Good move there. And Hudson there playing relaxed on defense. They haven't let DC Everest in their side of the field yet so far. And now Hudson will get it right back as Luke Johnson now with the ball. He runs it straight up the middle. Now he'll pass it back out. Now to Colton Prater. Prater now using his fantastic footwork. Gives it back to Cole Ober. Ober now pushing it up. He's going to give it to Paul Phillipson. Phillipson has O'Kelly running on the right side, but he elects to give it to Prater. Prater finds O'Kelly, though, the second rush. And now O'Kelly will get it booted out of bounds as he was trying to make a cross. But Evergreen's holding strong there on the defensive end. So now Hudson trying to get something going. It falls to O'Kelly. O'Kelly's going to try and cross it again, and once again it rolls, but this time it'll be a corner kick. Rolls off the leg of a DC Everest player, and it goes pretty high in the air. So now Prater will take the free kick along with Ryan Muthaden. We'll see who will take possession of the ball. Prater with both hands up. He'll send it in. Has a chance, and he can't quite get it to fruition, but DC Everest will kick it out, and Hudson there with a fantastic chance. But the Raiders can't get a goal on that one early in the game. They've been really good on offense in the early parts of matches, and they are itching for a goal right now. So a throw in now. And all the way in, trying to let it fall to a Hudson player. It does. Prater has it now. We'll move it out to Johnson. Johnson now tries to get a cross in. Good attempt there from the Raiders. The DC Everest catching some lucky breaks here so far. Only have had one shot on net so far this game, and it was a pretty easy roller right to the goalie. And now DC Everest has been looks frustrated here on offense, but they'll look to get something going as that ball goes right to O'Kelly. Passing has been very sloppy here tonight for the Evergreens, and passing has been precision so far for the Hudson Raiders. And that one, right as I say that, it seems like I jinxed him. Sam Ross, though, trying to win the ball back. Cole Ober there assisting him on that play. Now Sam Ross comes out of the scrum with it. Sam Ross going inside. He shoots it. Not on net, though. Fantastic chance there for the Raiders. And Sam Ross against the world there for that duration of possession. Looking for an unassisted goal. We've been here before for DC Everest, and it falls again to Colton Prater. Prater will move it to the left side, trying to spread out those midfielders. Sam Ross with another shooting opportunity. He stops it, gets covered by white jerseys. There were three guys around him, and there was little to no chance of him getting a shot off or even a pass off with that much pressure. Tygo Kelly wins the ball for the Raiders. Good move there from O'Kelly, moving his man off the ball and getting it. Now DC Everest will look to try and get it back, but Tygo Kelly is just too fast for Cole Breck. DC Everest kicks it high over to the left side. Ryan Muthaden hasn't had the ball a lot so far in the first 8 minutes of play, but look for him to be a factor tonight. Muthaden has been a fantastic offensive centerpiece for this Raider squad so far. Prater goes down there, and the refs will elect a free kick for the Raiders. Luke Johnson will take the free, or will set it up for one of his teammates. Nick Thompson will kick it from about 44 yards out from the goal. Thompson with both hands up. He'll kick it into Prater, back out to Nick Thompson. Thompson will boot it in, but DC Everest is able to clean that one up, and they send it over to Hudson's side. And now DC Everest looking for at least, some sort of possession in Hudson's zone. They haven't had it so far, and they won't get it. Cole Ober with some fantastic footwork and defending for the Raiders. And now Hudson once again with the ball in enemy territory as Sam Ross finds Paul Phillipson. Phillipson rushing down the side. Phillipson with a good back move. Looking for Ross, finds Ross, gets tripped up. Refs with a good no call there, and the Raiders will try and start their offense again on the right side. Phillipson, that ball takes a deflection, but it lands right to Muthaden. And Muthaden there with it, trying to get it going, and Prater just boots it. Definitely in his range. The midfielders for this Hudson Raiders squad have some powerful legs, and they can create chances from 20 to 30 yards out. And Paul Phillipson will check out here, and Chase MacArthur will head in for the Hudson Raiders. First time check. Chase MacArthur went in. Paul Phillipson will check out here for the first time, and now Chase MacArthur will look to take his place as Prater will take it.
Number 17, Chase MacArthur.
So now Hudson will get a throw-in. Tygo Kelly will take it as Prater hands it to him, the man who won the throw-in. And now Nick Thompson will move it up the middle for the Raiders, gets it up to Prater. Prater loses the ball, though, right away once he gets it. Bad touch there. And now the Raiders will have to start back from about 50 yards from goal. Move it up really quickly and efficiently, though, as DC Everest wins the ball back. Looking for their first possession of the night in Hudson Raider territory. Ross trying to win the ball back, but DC Everest holds strong. Forwards are using some cunning moves to get inside. And they're starting to beat this Hudson Raiders defense, but Hudson's holding strong in the midfield. As that is a fantastic ball up the right side, and that will be won by DC Everest. They're about 20 yards out from goal. Good stop there from Hudson. And the Raiders will now look for another offensive opportunity. And the side judge calls that one out. DC will get a throw in and a little quick breather. Good offensive chance there from the Evergreens, but it just didn't go quite the way they wanted. But that's something to build on, as they haven't had really any possession so far in this game in Hudson's territory. Prater now has the ball. He's dangerous, and he gets it all the way to MacArthur. MacArthur there trying to possess the ball. He does. Cutting inside, gets it up to Connor Johnson. Johnson tries to get a good ball to MacArthur, and MacArthur can't quite get there as the goalkeeper for DC Everest gets there first. So now DC Everest using their right flank to try and move the ball up. They move it towards the middle of the field, and Sam Ross wins it. Sam Ross has been a pest on defense this season for the Hudson Raiders and throughout the playoffs. And just a fantastic midfielder here tonight for Hudson, as Tygo Kelly will just boot that one out of bounds. Sam Ross, a sophomore already on varsity soccer. He has a bright future ahead of him, and he has been a spotlight here tonight for the Hudson Raiders, along with another sophomore on this varsity squad, Joey Grickus. Good future players for the Hudson Raiders, and these seniors have been guiding them along the way, and juniors. So now Hudson will look to win the ball. They do, but Prater has a bad touch there, and DC Everest fighting hard to get these 50-50 balls, and they're finally going their way, as they have been frustrated for the first 13, 12 minutes of this game. Prater there will move it up, trying to use his superb footwork, and he can't quite get it going. There's a big defender there for DC Everest, and Colton Prater gets called for the foul. He doesn't agree with it, but DC Everest gets a free kick from just over 60 yards away from net. So Jordan Tayo will kick it for the Evergreens, and he boots it far all the way towards the goalie box. But Luke Johnson wasn't having any of that. Heads it out and gets it to a teammate right away. They're going to use the back end, get it to Corey Denning. Denning uses plenty of leg on that one, but it drifts out of bounds, and DC Everest with another quick throw-in. So now the Evergreens using the right side once again. They've been, on their offensive chances, they've been doing a good job of moving it up the middle and the right so far tonight in the short amount of time that we've played already. Hudson now moving it from side to side. Now they're using the middle. DC, they're using some speed on the defensive side, but they lose it right away. Hudson has been at the right place at the right time so far tonight this game. Sam Ross now has an open lane in the middle. He'll boot it, and it's just right of the goal. Sam Ross there unloading on that one. He definitely has the range for that one, and he's showing it off right now, but just a few more on net, and he could get some in the back of the net tonight if he keeps it going. Just some really good offensive chances tonight for the Raider midfielders. Prater there with a fantastic header, gets it all the way up towards Connor Johnson. Now Kelly out to Cole Ober. Ober now will get it up to Johnson once again. Johnson using the middle of the field, gets it to Prater. Prater dribbling it towards the left. He gets it to the left side. Back to Prater once again. Prater gets up the middle. Sam Ross with another opportunity. He stutters, he unloads, and he can't quite get it on net. Blocked by a DC Everest defender. But Tygo Kelly fighting for it. He gets pushed over at the end of the field there. No call from the ref there. Just some really tough physical play so far tonight from both sides. Now Prater shoots it, and it's right to the goalie's chest. Fantastic positioning from DC Everest, and Ty Treader has been really good for the Evergreens so far tonight. And now that one is out of bounds. The side judge gives it to DC Everest, and Cole Breck there winning the throw-in for DC Everest, and he will throw it in. Cole Breck and Tygo Kelly have been a little bit chippy with one another, and has been an interesting matchup so far this game on that left side. So now Hudson will move it over all the way across the field. Prater with it now. Prater sending it back. Now Johnson with it, the other captain on the squad. Luke Johnson moves it up slowly, letting the offense develop. Gets it up to Connor Johnson, but Connor wrestling with that DC Everest defender, and he finds Chase MacArthur. MacArthur with a good opportunity, but it takes a couple awkward bounces, and he has to pass it back to Sam Ross. Sam Ross can't quite get his footing on it, but it ends up in Prater's possession, something that DC Everest does not want tonight. And Prater now crosses it in, going high, and it hits the crossbar. That was almost on, or it was on net. Just could have snuck in, looking for one of his teammates, but Colton Prater had plenty of leg on that one, and it could have just curved right in for an unexpected goal. So now DC Everest looking to keep it out of their end, but Hudson forcing the issue, and Hudson has had some shots, but they've just kind of gone right to the goalie, and that, I think that's just a testament to Ty Treader's positioning so far tonight for the Evergreens. So now Cole Olber will try his best to get it out of DC's possession. He boots it towards midfield, and DC just kind of sends it down to Denning. Corey Denning now picks up the ball, and the striker there, the forward for DC Everest, was kind of a challenging threat there. Could have stolen that one away, but Denning keeping it calm and collected. And now O'Kelly will send it towards the middle of the field. DC Everest there once again, but Prater finds it. And just for Prater tonight, Hudson has been able to do a fantastic job forcing the issue on offense, and the midfielders have been a big part of it, as they have been all season. So now Hudson with the ball once again. And just kind of the same old story. Hudson is just moving it up slowly, trying to find an open runner, and Sam Ross will look to take it himself. Gets it out to Chase MacArthur. MacArthur will send it across the field, and that one is a little bit high, and I don't think Muthaden can get to it, and he won't. It'll roll out of bounds for a deep DC Everest throw-in. So now Hudson with it once again. DC Everest not really able to control their throw-ins in their own territory. And Hudson with it once again, showing some explosive offensive firepower so far, getting some good chances inside, as MacArthur there taking it himself, and he just rolls it right to the keeper. That's 4 shots for Hudson that have just gone right to Treader. So now Luke Johnson comes out of the scrum with it in the middle of the field. Hudson is outpacing DC Everest right now, and they are looking for an offensive opportunity. Prater with it. Prater shoots it on net, and Treader has to make another save, and a fantastic save for Hudson. Or for DC Everest. Bad save for Hudson. They were looking for a goal right there. Prater with it once again. Gets it up towards Johnson, trying to get it back to Prater. But Breck finds the ball, and he gives it to one of his teammates. And Knutson trying to give the ball towards the back end, toward the midfielders for this DC Everest squad. They've been finding a little bit of success, but those speedy Hudson midfielders have just been poking it loose. Haven't really been able to keep control of the ball for too long once they get it in Hudson's end. Prater there moving it across the logo over to Muthaden. Now Johnson back up. Johnson now will move it over towards the right flank, trying to find O'Kelly, but it lands in between O'Kelly and MacArthur, right to a DC Everest waiting foot. And O'Kelly finds himself with it again, moves it back over. And a good ball towards the middle, can't quite find MacArthur. And now DC Everest will look to start some offense, but right as I say that, Sam Ross is just able to find the ball, sniff it out, and get it for his teammates. He has been fantastic tonight for the Hudson Raiders. Now he's going to move it up about 35 yards from net, gets it over to Johnson. Johnson now moves it upwards, but he can't quite find his teammate. It rolls back to Prater. Prater using some superb footwork. DC Everest kind of running in circles when they're guarding against Prater. Prater has been fantastic. And now Johnson moving it, playing pretty far up from his position. Shot on net, and it is over. Hudson trying their best to get a goal from these medium-length shots and from midfield. And Joey Grickus will check in for the Hudson Raiders.
Into the game for the Raiders, number 10, Joey Grickus.
So Joey Grickus checks in. He is the speedy sophomore who got added on to the varsity team later into the season. He has been really good so far for this Raider squad. And now Prater will move it up towards the middle. Muthaden finds it, but Prater is down again, and we saw, oh, he is in pain. Prater had a little skirmish against River Falls in the last regular season game, and you don't want to see him go down again, but it looks like he'll fight it off. Luke Johnson will elect to take the free kick for Hudson. From about 38 yards. Johnson boots it with his left foot, gets it into the crowd, and Hudson will end up with it. Hudson looking for a chance, cross, and it is over the net. Just over. Some Hudson fans thought it snuck in over Treader, but Ty Treader there able to at least try and keep it out as he just kind of pokes it over the net. And now Hudson will set up for a corner kick. Hudson has done a fantastic job so far controlling the possession. DC Everest hasn't really had too many answers for them, but DC Everest has shown some flashes in the pan so far tonight. They've been able to get at least a few offensive chances, but they haven't really been able to get any sort of serious scoring chances that, make the Raiders break a sweat. As Johnson now will boot it, shot wide of the net by plenty of feet. And now someone will check in for...
Into the game for the Evergreens, number 15, Diego Sanchez.
Diego Sanchez will check in tonight for the DC Everest Evergreens. First time he checks in tonight, first sub that DC has used tonight. Hudson has used 2 already in the 24th minute of play. So now Hudson with some numbers, Muthaden up the middle, getting it up towards Chase MacArthur, and that one is in! Chase MacArthur with the goal. And it is a early goal for the Hudson Raiders. Chase MacArthur, that one rolled past the goalie. I mean, 2 DC Everest players versus Chase MacArthur right there, and Chase MacArthur wins, tapping it into the goal and just letting it settle back in there. And a well-deserved goal tonight for the Hudson Raiders. So now DC Everest will look to try and match that goal and keep them from going into a 2-0 hole as Tygo Kelly there boots it out, trying to win the ball. DC Everest now getting a throw-in on their own end of the field. Lowe there on the throw-in. Muthaden there boots it out, and Lowe will throw it in once again.
Raiders up 1-0 by number 17, Chase MacArthur.
So now Luke Johnson giving it up to Sam Ross. Sam Ross now moving it towards the left side of the field, running past his man. He creates an opportunity for one of his teammates. Now Prater has it. Prater gets it poked away there by an Evergreen defender, and they can't get any real offense going on that one, and they'll have to backtrack as Hudson was putting some pressure on them while they were trying to move it up. Tygo Kelly rushing towards the ball. Does a backwards roll after he boots it all the way to Chase MacArthur. DC Everest wins it though, but won right back by Hudson. Chase MacArthur will get it up to Muthaden. Muthaden gets real physical there with his man. Refs with a good no call there, letting the Raiders and Evergreens play tonight. So now Johnson moving it up. Looks like he will give it up towards the left side, trying to get it to Prater, and that one just won't work for him. And that one is on net, and it is just over the crossbar. Oof. Ryan Muthaden there unloading on that one. Muthaden looking for his goal to join MacArthur for the goal-scoring party tonight. DC Everest with another goal kick for them, and that is another short one. They haven't really been able to move it up the field tonight on those kicks, and Hudson has been winning them a lot as O'Kelly there picks up the ball, gets it back over to Nick Thompson. And now Sam Ross with the ball, but that will be called off by a foul from Hudson. DC Everest player falls on the ground, and they award the free kick to him. Paul Phillipson looking to check in here for a second skirmish for the game. Now DC Everest moves it all the way down towards Hudson's net. Good free kick there, but Hudson will use that for an offensive opportunity. That one rolls out. DC Everest now trying to use their throw-ins to create some sort of offensive spark. They haven't really been able to do a lot tonight. DC Everest once again giving it right back to Hudson on one of those throw-ins. Prater there with a nice kick, getting it for himself, gets it up to Chase MacArthur, and it's him and the goalie. MacArthur shoots it, and it just rolls wide right of the net. MacArthur had a real serious chance there for the Hudson Raiders. And MacArthur looking for a second goal there, just couldn't quite get the footing for it. And DC Everest catches a break. MacArthur is a dangerous forward, and Paul Phillipson will check back in for Hudson, and MacArthur will go back out. So now Muthaden trying to run after the ball.
Number 2, Paul Phillipson.
Tygo Kelly there wins the ball away from Brick. Now O'Kelly there using some of his speed, uses some extra leg power, and it goes right over the net once again. That isn't the first time Hudson has done that tonight. They're just putting a lot of extra power on these shots. They have been faster and more powerful than the Evergreens tonight, and it shows in the score as they are up 1-0 in the 29th minute of play. DC Everest barely able to get it towards 40 yards as they will set up offense in the midfield. Good ball there, but it'll be sniffed out by the Hudson defense. And once again, DC Everest with a solid chance, but they just can't quite get it as Ober tries to give it up to O'Kelly. O'Kelly lets it roll out of bounds as he was trying to let the ball lead him. And now Breck will throw it in. And now O'Kelly once again gets it back. Breck there will boot it to one of his teammates. Sam Ross there trying to use some moves to get it through. And Knudsen there trying to get something going for the Evergreens. As now Hudson putting some pressure on the defenders. And that one will go out of bounds, but it'll be a Navy throw-in. And the refs signal a stoppage in time. As Connor Johnson, the senior midfielder, will look to check back in here for the Raiders here pretty soon. 30th minute of play, still 1-0 Hudson. Now DC Everest trying to get something going. Good move there, but a bad touch. And it falls right into O'Kelly once again. O'Kelly has been really active tonight for the Hudson Raiders as he gets it up to Prater. Prater takes a tumble once again. The ref there instructing the teams to try and keep it calm. And DC Everest using a mass substitution. They've got 3 people checking in compared to Hudson's lone Connor Johnson checking in for the Hudson Raiders. Cole Ober there moves it all the way up towards the upper left side. Now Johnson with it. Luke Johnson moving it, taking some big strides, beating his defender. He'll move it towards the middle, and DC Everest just taps it away. Got to be frustrating for Hudson, but they got to keep pressing on, looking to add to their lead. And DC Everest will get a kick from their goal spot as they deem that chance from Johnson out of bounds. And now a big substitute.
For the Evergreens, number 2, Connor Shulman. Number 8, Connor Gilmore. And number 11, Harrison Peak. Into the game for the Raiders, number 23, Connor Johnson.
So now substitutes are even for both teams as they have both used 4 so far in the 32nd minute of play. Hudson hasn't looked exhausted at all as they just keep moving the ball, using their midfielders and forwards to outspeed this DC Everest back 4. And DC Everest hasn't really been able to keep up a whole lot. Now Hudson moving it around, trying to use the left side. And DC Everest wins that one. They'll use their back end, gives it right back to Luke Johnson, and that one will roll right to the goalkeeper. Treader there will boot it right to Tygo Kelly, and O'Kelly just kind of rolls it to a DC Everest player. And now Lowe there will get it to his teammate. And another classy move there from Hudson, as they have been able to just poke it away, and their back four has been able to out-muscle, and if not that, just poke it away from these DC Everest forwards. Paul Phillipson with it now. The waiting foot of Paul Phillipson has been dangerous tonight, and a shot there from the middle. Phillipson with another chance, and that is tough for Hudson. Couldn't quite get it there, and Connor Johnson there on the opportunity. That one just gets blocked in the last second. And now for Hudson, it looks like Ryan Muthaden and Chase MacArthur will check in at the next stoppage, as Connor Johnson gets it once again, looking for a shot. He does get a shot, and it goes right to Treader. Treader has faced around 7 or 8 shots that have just kind of gone right to him tonight by the Hudson Raiders, as O'Kelly there tries to get it up to Johnson. Prater there coming from up behind, being physical. Hudson now using their heads to try and move the ball. They're successful, and now Hudson just packing in the pressure. DC Everest is just looks like their heads are spinning when Hudson is moving it down. It doesn't even matter if it's the left side, right side, or right down the middle. DC has just kind of been letting it happen. And once they get close, they've been catching some lucky breaks off of some shots right to the goalkeeper, or just, poking it free at the last minute, having it roll out. Johnson there moving it way over to the other side. DC Everest there playing physical and winning the ball back. Now DC Everest will use their right side to create some offense, and Knudsen cannot control the ball there, but one of his teammates will. Now DC Everest backtracking towards the midfield, trying to get their forwards down there, trying to spread out Hudson's defense the way that Hudson has been doing against them so far tonight. And Luke Johnson wins that ball away. Luke Johnson now slowing it down a little bit. O'Kelly waiting for it, gets it up to Paul Phillipson. Phillipson now cutting towards the middle, gets it all the way back to Sam Ross. Ross back to Johnson. Johnson moving it up towards the middle. Now over to Prater. Colton Prater with it. You can tell it's Prater from his dribble moves, and he has been doing that all season, and he has been continuing it tonight against the Evergreens. So now DC Everest using their back end, trying to keep Hudson away from the ball. They're unsuccessful, and that is Phillipson pokes it loose, but DC lucky there to get the ball back. And now DC Everest is looking to try and not have that happen again. A poor touch there. And now Luke Johnson with it, fires it on net, and Ty Treader has been fantastic in goal. Positioning has been superb for the Evergreens goalkeeper. Now Sam Ross with it. And he draws a foul on that one, and now Hudson will look to pack in some heat, as Johnson there with another scoring opportunity. He cuts towards the middle, and he is knocked down, and they will not give him that call, as Phillipson now with it. Phillipson moving it towards the middle, gets it to the middle, and they can't quite get it on net. Connor Johnson with a fantastic opportunity. Prater can't get it on either. So now 4 substitutions.
Into the game for the Evergreens, number 6, Avery Durkee, and number 17, Cole Brecky. For the Raiders, number 5, Ryan Muthaden, and number 17, Chase MacArthur.
Second time Chase is checking in tonight. He has been a spark plug for the Hudson Raiders. so far. He looks to continue it, the lone goal scorer for this Raiders squad. Tygo Kelly now moving it up to Colton Prater. Prater getting muscled by two DC Everest defenders, and you need about two people to get Prater down. He has been fantastic so far at being tough and strong with the ball. As Muthaden moves it along the left side. Muthaden with some good skill moves, but he can't quite get the shot off. Prater gets a shot though, and it goes right to the goalie once again. For Hudson, these, their shots have just either been really high and far away from the net, or they've just been kind of rolling right to the goalie. There hasn't been a whole lot of middle ground. Is now Johnson with a fantastic opportunity in front of the net, and Treader gets a good stop there, and the Evergreens get lucky there from the rock-solid goalkeeping from Treader, and now Hudson forces the issue once again, and they will award the free kick as Luke Johnson gets knocked down, and Colton Prater will take the free kick from about 27 yards out. So it'll be Johnson and Prater. We'll see what they decide to do, who will kick it. Johnson will use his left foot if he kicks, and Prater will use his right, repositioning the ball here. Johnson runs over it. Prater will send it in, and that is saved by Ty Treader. What a fantastic save from the DC Everest goalkeeper, reaching out and just tapping it right away. A prayer there, and Prater had it on net, and that could have been the second goal of the night for Hudson. Right on net, and that one had some extra velocity on it. So now Hudson with a corner kick opportunity. Prater will send it in, and now Hudson with another opportunity, but it just rolls away from the crowd. DC Everest will try and get it away from Hudson, and they can't. MacArthur there with some fantastic offense, and he tries to send it towards the middle, and that does not work. And now DC Everest has a 3-on-3 situation, turns into 3-on-4 as Hudson defenders crash inside, and Hudson there, their midfielders and their defenders keeping it away from DC Everest. And you have to think that the Evergreens are frustrated tonight with their offensive play, and not for lack of effort or lack of trying or anything like that, but Hudson has just been too fast, and they've been too sneaky for this Evergreen squad, as MacArthur there had an opportunity to shoot, passes it up, gives it to Prater. Prater now moving it around. He's about 25 yards away, now only 20, and Prater takes a tumble. Refs don't give him the call. O'Kelly was waiting for them to, and O'Kelly will send it towards the middle into Luke Johnson, and Johnson there heads it in, but it's a little bit off net. Treader will clean up that mess there, and he'll boot it towards midfield. The Evergreens there with a fantastic ball up to the right side. Now they got some offense going. 30 yards out. Now they move it towards the middle. The Evergreens with a shot. No, they'll send it out to the left side, excuse me. Cross all the way to the other side, and that one sails over Knudson's head. So now Hudson looking to go up 2-0 in this one. Prater, he has been dangerous with the ball all season long, and now he gets it to MacArthur, the lone goal scorer. Tygo Kelly gives it back to Prater. Prater looking for an option, gives it back to O'Kelly. The right flank has been kind for the Raiders so far tonight. And now inside, DC Everest trying to keep it away. Hudson has a fantastic chance, but Muthaden can't quite get his foot on it, but Hudson with another opportunity. Johnson sends it towards the middle, and it is lightly headed over by Chase MacArthur, and Chase has been all over the ball tonight, using his hip there to keep it away from the defender. And now a shot on net, kind of dribbles and drifts away left of the net. And now there will be a substitution for the DC Everest Evergreens.
Into the game for the Evergreens, number 3, Abe Carter.
Carter's first time in the game tonight for DC Everest. DC Everest looking for any sort of spark, so if any one of these bench warmers can do it, I'm assuming Josh Roloff will take it, as DC Everest has been frustrated tonight on offense. With just under 3 minutes left to go in the first half, Hudson now looking to go up 2-0. Chase gives it to Prater. Prater stuttering. He takes a shot, and that just kind of rolls right to the goalie. Trying to just kind of tap it in there, and Brecky will move it up towards the middle. Hudson outnumbering the DC Everest forwards, but DC Everest putting some pressure on that back four. And now Corey Denning will send it towards the midfield. DC Everest will retain possession once again, looking to set up offense back at square one. Sending it up the middle now. The Evergreens are looking to get something going, and they have something going right now. Prater pressures the middle, but DC Everest able to sneak it away. And now Luke Johnson up to Prater. Prater gives it over to Sam Ross, the sophomore midfielder. Ross taking some big strides, moving the ball. He stutters. He'll take it towards the right side, not looking for a shot, but looking for an opportunity for his teammate. He gets it over to Johnson. Johnson in his range. He shoots it right to the goalie. It pops loose, and Chase MacArthur cannot quite get it there. Chase hesitated right there, and he would just, 1 second too late to that ball. Treader there catches a break. And, with the way that Hudson has been going at it, Hudson could be up as much as 3 or 4-0 so far, but they've just been catching some breaks, and unlucky breaks for Hudson, and definitely lucky for the Evergreens. So now Prater will move it up towards the middle, coming from the right side. He'll give it over to the other captain, Luke Johnson. They have some really good chemistry. They've been using each other to create opportunities for themselves and their teammates. As O'Kelly now gets the ball in the waning seconds of this first half. Hudson looking to go into the second with some momentum. O'Kelly crossing it in, and that will go right to DC Everest defender, Sam Ross with it. Just over half a minute left to go in this first half. And Tygo Kelly will regroup and regather the ball once again. That's over. And that one is in once again. That's a goal for the Hudson Raiders. Oh no, they're waving it off. Calling it offsides. Oh. Oof. That could have been a big momentum swing for the Raiders.
10, 9,
and
8,
here we go.
7,
towards the
6,
end of the half.
5, 4, 3,
and
2,
that will be it.
1.
DC Everest 0, Hudson 1. Hudson has done a fantastic job so far tonight, and they could be up by more goals, but DC Everest has been holding strong, and they look to score 2 and steal this game away from the high-seeded Raiders. Will we see an upset, or will we see the Powers hold strong in the WIAA soccer tournament? That's it for the first half. I'll see you in the second. So whenever ready to get going, Johnson will send it, and he will. Prater now with it, the captain, the main man of the midfield. Now Hudson using their back end. DC Everest starting to pressure a little bit more. There's got to be more of a sense of urgency here tonight from the Evergreens after that really tough and, dare I say, abysmal first half on the offensive side. But they played pretty solid on defense for the amount of chances that Hudson got. They were able to clean up some of them. And their goalkeeper, Ty Treader, has been fantastic for the Evergreens here tonight. So now Hudson will move it up the right flank. They've got some numbers, moving it towards the middle. Johnson with a chance, but it's snuffed away by DC Everest and one of their defenders that that back four has been really good and fantastic for this Evergreen squad. As Prater there fighting for the ball, he comes up with it. Prater moving it back, trying to get the pressure off of him. Now he'll move it around. Now towards the middle, DC Everest will boot it back. Be right over to Mason Hullum, and now Nick Thompson moving it up. Paul Phillipson with it. Paul gets it towards the middle, looking for Connor Johnson. Doesn't quite find him, and Prater goes down once again for Hudson. He has been all over, and he's been on the ground a few times. DC Everest has picked up on his physical style, and they are combating it pretty well so far. As now Knudsen sends a great ball, but it is taken away there by Cole Ober, and Ober there moves it up, towards Nick Thompson, and now they'll use the left side. Miller there, moving it back towards the middle. Miller will find it again. Braden Miller moves it up towards the middle. Sam Ross with it. He is fast, and he is showcasing it right now, moving it up towards the middle, getting past his defender, Paul Phillipson, sophomore to sophomore, and that one will just go right to the goalkeeper. DC Everest catches another break there. Good positioning from Ty Treader, and he's been doing it all night. And Knudsen now finds the ball on his foot, but Nick Thompson with some fantastic defending for the Hudson Raiders, keeping it away from that powerful forward that DC Everest has. Prater now taking it himself, gives it up to Muthaden. Muthaden now working the left side. Muthaden has been a very good goal scorer for this Hudson Raider squad so far. Hasn't really had a whole lot of chances at the net. Referees with a questionable no call on that one. Looked like he pushed him in the back. And you see DC Everest is now starting to pursue the ball a lot more. They are forcing the issue on offense and defense. And Avery Durkee and Knudsen have been able to get some good chances. And here's a good chance for the Raiders. Paul Phillipson near the net, and Phillipson does not have a chance to get that one off. And now Prater with it, trying to tap it in, and Prater just kind of trying to sail it over the goalie's head right there. Doesn't quite work out. And now Hudson there, working again with another great opportunity. Can't quite come up with the goal though, but that's nothing to hang their heads about, as Hudson has been all over the ball tonight, getting plenty of scoring chances, and they have just been fantastic on offense, defense, midfield, goalkeeping, whatever category you want to say or mention. They've been fantastic. As Sam Ross unloads, and it is over the net. Sam Ross putting some extra mustard on that one. And as Chuck would say, who is not here with us tonight, he missed the bun.
Thank you, sir.
And Raiders with that was a fantastic opportunity, definitely in Sam Ross's range. Johnson, Ross, and Prater have all have that kind of leg. And speaking of Prater, here he is again with the ball. Prater moving it up by himself, getting past some defenders, shoots it on net, and that one is once again over. That one will roll all the way towards the gate entrance to the field, and it will roll out of the track through that entrance. As one of the ball boys will rush after it. So now back onto the on-field action. DC Everest will set up for a goal kick here. There it is, booted all the way towards 50 yards away from net. DC Everest with a solid chance here so far. They've got on that one. Might as well just forget that thought as they give it right back to Hudson. Sam Ross now with it. Sam Ross has had the ball plenty of times today, trying to get it all the way up to Connor Johnson, and Johnson can't quite get it. DC Everest, they're booting it away. And it's right back to Hudson. As Luke Johnson gets it again, gives it to Sam Ross. Sam Ross moving it over to Colton Prater. Prater taking it slowly, a more boring approach for the second half so far from the Raiders, as they have just been really looking to set things up. Sam Ross there looking to add a little bit of speed to this attack, gets it up to Phillipson, another sophomore to sophomore pass right there from Ross and Phillipson. Now Sam Ross with an opportunity. Sam Ross gets it towards the middle, looking for Johnson. He can't quite get it. Nick Johnson gives it to Prater. Prater with an opportunity. Stutters, looking to take it on his right foot, and it is blocked way out. Good stop there from the DC Everest Evergreens back four, and now Hudson will have another opportunity. DC Everest has not been able to keep Hudson out of their back end. And the back third has been under duress all night for the Evergreens. Sam Ross with it once again. Sam looking for an opportunity for one of his teammates. He gives it to Paul Phillipson. Prater with it now with one lone defender on him. Outside. He'll send it in towards the middle, and that one can't quite get to Muthaden, but Johnson there trying to get a shot on goal, and it is blocked away by DC Everest. And once again, another Raider throw-in, as Navy jerseys have been all around the ball.
Chase MacArthur.
MacArthur checks in for the third time tonight for the Hudson Raiders, as he has been the lone goal scorer. He has been a good goal scorer for Hudson so far this season, and he has been a spark plug off the bench so far. He has been a great offensive forward for this Raider team. Prater gives it over to the other captain, Nick Johnson. Johnson now moving it back to Prater. Prater with some good footwork, superb foot skills there from Prater, and he gets nudged. He's been getting really physical. He's been looking for calls, but the refs have not been too kind to him tonight, as that one is another ball right towards the middle, looking for the captain, Nick Johnson, and Johnson can't quite get his foot on it. Solid night here tonight from the Raiders offense. Oh. Yeah, I forgot, sorry. Ryan corrected me, and it is Luke Johnson. I've been saying it wrong for quite a bit. Now Colton Prater will kick it all the way on net, and it is saved. Prater had a real shot at that one. He just put it on net, and that was a rocket. He's been capable of that all season long, and he showed it right there as Ryan Muthaden will kick it in for the Raiders. Muthaden will send it in. Has an opportunity, but Treader punches it away. Treader has been all over the place tonight for the Evergreens, and he has kept them away from giving up a big lead. And there he is once again, picking up the slack, sends it all the way up to one of his midfielders. And now DC Everest looking to start some offense. Pass a little bit behind one of their forwards, but able to, get something going. And this is what DC Everest has been waiting for all night, all the way up to Knutson. Knutson moving it, getting physical with his defender. He gets the ball, he shoots it, and that is way wide of the net. Doesn't even graze the back side of it. And Corey Denning will send it off for a goal kick. Corey Denning will send it all the way, and Muthaden finds it in his waiting foot. A soft pass, though, up to MacArthur, and MacArthur fighting for that one. He has been a fantastic forward, and he has been trying to win those 50-50 balls. Like I've mentioned before, Hudson has just been way too fast for DC Everest, and Muthaden showing it right there as Prater was the man that Muthaden was looking for, puts it behind him, and some physical defending from DC Everest slows down Hudson's offense once again. Prater there taking it, shooting with his left foot, and that hits the crossbar of the football uprights on that one. Hudson has been putting a lot of extra oomph on their shots tonight, and they just haven't been able to hit the back of the net. There have been two that have hit the back of the net that have been slow little dribblers, but those were just, one of them was called off, and the other one was scored by Chase MacArthur off with some lucky bounces, and MacArthur, picking up the slack there. And the refs, once again, aren't giving Colton Prater any sort of slack, as DC Everest will take a quick free kick up to Knutson. Knutson trying to start some offense. He's been very good for DC Everest. Now he has the ball. Poked away, though, by Luke Johnson. And now Colton Prater will run it himself. You can see he's just bull rushing the middle. There's some extra anger behind him off of these tough no calls that he has been getting from the refs tonight. So now Hudson will move it Shot from way out. Tygo Kelly attempting that one. Can't quite get it there as Phillipson will give it back to Tygo Kelly. Sophomore to sophomore, and that one will hit a DC Everest player. And it'll just kind of drift out of bounds there. So now Hudson will get a corner kick opportunity as it looks like Prater will take it for Hudson. So now Prater will send it in. Looking for Chase MacArthur, finds him, and that one will just go right to a DC Everest defender, and now DC Everest with a 2-on-2 situation. Hudson will find it once again, though. DC Everest is just on those corner kicks. When they've been able to send it out, they have been able to get at least a little bit of something going, as O'Kelly will send it in towards the middle looking for Phillipson, but they have just not been able to get any sort of offense going. Those midfielders have just been poking it and being physical with them. And DC Everest hasn't had any real offensive chances come to fruition so far tonight. Sam Ross now using some moves, doing his best Colton Prater impression. So he'll give it to Miller, who gives it to Phillipson, and another big shot from the big boot of Luke Johnson, the senior captain, and it'll be the second time tonight that Garrison Peak,
number 11, Garrison Peak.
Garrison Peak, a freshman midfielder for this Evergreen squad. It'll be the second time he's checking in. Freshman getting some action here tonight for them, and looking for Coach Roloff will look for any sort of offensive spark. So if he is the supplier of that spark, I'm assuming he'll take it, as he's down 1-0 in a frustrating contest for both sides so far. Sam Ross will send it all the way to the right side. O'Kelly making a run for it. He comes in possession with it. He'll send it back over. Phillipson with it. Phillipson trying to shoot it. It'll roll, and that one is just shot by Wuthaden way too high over the net. But another great scoring chance from Hudson. It hasn't been through lack of scoring opportunities. It has just been the lack of putting them in the back of the net so far for the Hudson Raiders. So now for Hudson, they'll look to start from square one on their offense from another soft goal kick. DC Everest will find themselves with it, though, as Knutson has been all over the ball on offense for this DC Everest squad. So now DC Everest using their defenders once again. And Hudson is just forcing them back all the way towards 30 yards outside their goal, and that's not a position that DC Everest wants to be in. That's really deep, especially with speedy guys like Wuthaden, MacArthur, and Joey Grickus pressuring them with the ball. Chase MacArthur there trying to win it free, but he can't. That's another good takeaway there from DC Everest, and now they've got an offensive opportunity, trying to use some speed, and they can't quite get it going. So Nick Thompson there sniffs it out for the Hudson Raiders, and now Grickus will move it up. Chase MacArthur with another offensive opportunity, and Treader will send it over, and Prater finds the ball. And Prater gives it right back to Knutson, and a stoppage in play is called, and Hudson is awarded a free kick. So now Hudson now using their offense. Grickus, the sophomore, sending it towards the middle, looking for MacArthur, finds him, but MacArthur can't quite get a good touch on it, and DC Everest sends it back to the midfield once again, as Nick Thompson now will send it all the way over to the other side, and a offsides is called, or no, a foul. Or is it an offsides? It'll be an offsides called from Paul Phillipson. So now DC Everest using the left flank to try and get something going. That one will just roll out of bounds, but Hudson tapped it out. So now
Into the
DC
game for
Everest
the
will.
Evergreens. Number 6, Avery Durkee.
Avery Durkee's second time checking into the game here for DC Everest, the senior forward for this Evergreen squad. Now DC Everest looking for an offensive opportunity. Hudson sends it all the way back out, and that one will just roll out of bounds for another Evergreen throw-in. Good throw-in there for DC Everest, and they're slowly but surely moving it down the field and trying to get some sort of offensive setup going. Knudsen there fighting for the ball. Can't quite get it. And now GC Everest with a chance up the middle, and another foul is called. Prater and Sam Ross are involved in it. And DC Everest will get about a 31-yard free kick. So it looks like they'll just send it in towards the box. And they will, on net, right to the waiting arms of Corey Denning. And Denning has been a rock tonight for the Hudson Raiders in the goalkeeping department. And for the few chances that he's had, he's been able to keep it rock solid over there on the backside as the last defense. Hudson there with some physical play. They win the ball, moving it up the right flank. And now Hudson has just really been too fast for this DC Everest squad, as Luke Thompson now with it. Luke Thompson loses the ball. DC Everest finds themselves with it. They're moving it up the middle. They've got some numbers, even strength for both sides. And that will be sent in. Knudsen trying to get a goal-scoring opportunity, but it won't work out. And now Avery Durkee will move it in towards the middle, looking for Knudsen once again, and Knudsen is visibly frustrated. He's had plenty of chances going towards him, but the Hudson defenders have been pesky tonight for DC Everest, and they haven't been able to get a goal, obviously, but more important than that, they haven't really been able to get any sort of serious chance going for them, as Connor Johnson, the senior midfielder / forward, will look to check in here tonight for the Hudson Raiders for his second time in the next stoppage. Prater sends it over to the goal, and that one is wide right. Prater there with a fantastic opportunity to get his second, not his second goal, but the team's second goal. That one just a bit wide. Connor Johnson will step in here for Ryan Muthaden as he'll get a quick breather. Muthaden has been good tonight for the Hudson Raiders. He's been good all season for him. And now DC Everest looking for something, some physical play, and Prater once again is getting called for a foul, and he is looking to the refs for any sort of sympathy, but he's not getting it so far tonight. Raiders have been pretty tough on him so far. Now DC Everest with a good scoring chance. Knudsen has it on his waiting foot, but it'll be called offsides by the line judge. Good call there. Hudson there catching a break as Knudsen was offsides. Hollum sends it all the way up to Connor Johnson. Johnson with it now, having some good space available to him. Prater now with it. Prater using the left flank. He gets it up to Joey Grinkus, the speedy sophomore, moving it up. He gets it poked away, but that is a free throw that is won. DC Everest thought that they had it, but they don't come away with it, as Prater will get the throw in. Grickus is one of the men available for Braden Miller, and he will give it to him. Grickus leaving the ball open, kind of trying to shield it move it in towards the goal. Can't quite get it going there. And Miller there with another throw in. Now to Sam Ross, another sophomore on this Raider squad. And Hudson there with some trouble there trying to get the ball away from the offensive pressure. And now Prater with it, getting it up to MacArthur. MacArthur trying to get it back to one of his midfielders. Sam Ross comes away with it. Ross there, waiting patiently. They'll get it over to Luke Johnson. Johnson gives it up to Connor Johnson, and it is called offsides by the side judge. And Raider fans are up in arms about that one. That is a tough call for the side judge to make. It looked like he was onside from my vantage point at least, and obviously from the Hudson fans. But what he says goes. So now the Evergreens using their back three defenders. Moving it up. Brekke will move it upwards. Brekke trying to find it once again. And another no call as Prater gets knocked down once more. And Brekke has been fantastic tonight for the Evergreens as he has been able to be physical with Colton Prater and any other of the midfielders like Ross or Johnson or even Tygo Kelly, one of their defensive backs. He has been really physical with, as there was a little battle going on there in the first half between those two. Johnson now with it, being surrounded by Evergreen defenders. He still comes away with it somehow. Superb footwork there from the captain. And now O'Kelly with it. O'Kelly using some quick stutter moves, crosses it in, looking for Joey Grickus, and Grickus cannot quite get his head on it. And DC Everest catches a lucky break there as they send it over back towards the midfield. Hudson with another opportunity to get some offensive chances. And they can't score a goal, that one, but they have been really forcing the issue on offense. And DC Everest has shown more urgency so far this game, but just hasn't really been able to score goals as that one is shot, saved by Treader. That one is off the bar, off the bar there, off the post. And what a fantastic chance for the Raiders to go up 2-0, but just slightly off. A game of inches tonight here, folks, and perfectly exemplified with that shot. Knutson with it now, trying to leave it for one of his teammates. Does, and now DC Everest moving it towards the back. Create some space for the midfielders, and that's exactly what it does, but Tygo Kelly fights and wins for the ball there. Connor Johnson leaving it back for Ross. Now Prater has it. Prater from about 35 yards out. Prater breaking free of that, physical defense that the Evergreens have been showing him so far. They must have been keeping tabs on the captain, Colton Prater. Oh, and Colton Prater with some silky smooth moves there on the left flank. He gets it past his defender off of a rough bounce. And the refs are looking for a call. And they won't get it once again. Another shot on net. And it has been chaotic on the Evergreen's back third so far tonight. And there have been so many chances and so many shots. And the Raiders have been doing that all season long, getting shots up in on the goal. And they've been able to put offensive pressure on teams all season. And it doesn't change tonight. And it shouldn't change for Soam's squad. Even though it has been frustrating, they're still up 1-0.
Game for the Evergreens, number 15, Diego Sanchez. For the Raiders, number 2, Paul Phillipson, and number 5, Ryan Muthaden.
Second time checking in for all 3 of those substitutes from both sides. Now Prater gives it back up to Miller. Miller will give it over to Ryan Muthaden. Muthaden is a dangerous man with that neon ball in his feet. And he'll give it up there to Nick Thompson. And now Luke Johnson gives it all the way to Sam Ross. Now Muthaden with it. Fantastic opportunity. And DC Everest shielding Connor Thompson away from the net, and is poked free once again by this Evergreen's back third. They have been really good so far. The midfielders have been letting Hudson run circles around him, as you see right there. Phillipson with a shot on net, and Treader again with another save. He has been able to make that goal seem so small tonight for Hudson. Besides that one, lucky bounce and MacArthur putting it in, Treader has not let any sort of goals in. And Hudson just hasn't really had an answer for this steady goalkeeping from Ty Treader. So now Nick Thompson will throw it in here for the Hudson Raiders. Braden Miller gets it. He'll give it to the captain. Thompson finds it on his foot once again. He sends it all the way across the field looking for Phillipson. Can't quite get it there. And now Knutson trying to head it towards the goal. Doesn't get it. And it is a long ball affair right now, as both teams are just starting to send it towards the net. Not really a whole lot of offensive firepower right now. They've just been kind of kicking it back and forth. Now DC Everest controlling it, slowing it down a little bit. Avery Durkee with it. Durkee being challenged by Colton Prater. Prater comes up with it. Prater with a fantastic challenge on that one. And Prater now will move it up himself, giving it to one of his midfielders. That's Sam Ross once again, looking for Ryan Muthaden. He finds Ryan Muthaden, only about 10 yards from net. Muthaden, just a fantastic stutter step move there, and Muthaden can't quite get it on net. Muthaden there with the arm extension. They don't call a foul on it. DC Everest looking for a foul called. They've had plenty of them go their way, and they were looking for that one to go their way as well. Phillipson now using some of that extra speed, gets it in towards the middle, and Paul has not taken too many shots this season. He's looking for opportunities for his teammates. He didn't have a good angle there, trying to get it to Connor Thompson. And now DC Everest was slowing it down, and coach not happy with that, as DC Everest had a real opportunity to just, outpace Hudson, excuse me. And now that opportunity was just wiped away. So now DC Everest once again on the offensive tack in the midfield. They'll look to set up something, and another foul is called. A good call there from the referees. DC Everest will hurriedly get that free kick going. And now they're looking for some sort of offensive opportunity. Knutson with the ball once again, looking for one of his teammates on the left flank. Can't quite get it to him. Prater finds it on his foot once again, and now Phillipson with it. Looking for Connor Johnson. Can't quite get it there. Defender made a sharp cut on it. And DC Everest once again in a kicking affair with Hudson. Now Hudson looking to control it. Sam Ross with it. Sam Ross trying to blow by his man. Can't quite get it. That one just rolls right out of bounds on that one. And there will be a substitute. Chase MacArthur will check in for Hudson.
Into the game for the Evergreens, number 2, Connor Schulmer. For the Raiders, number 17, Chase MacArthur.
Third time Chase MacArthur is checking in here tonight for this Raider team. And from top to bottom, this team for Hudson is just a well-oiled machine. They all do their part. The midfielders and forwards have great offensive skill sets, and the defenders are quick and decisive with their passes and challenges. And another shot there from Prater. That one is off the crossbar. This time it's not the football crossbar, it is the soccer crossbar on that one, and that was close there. Treader just watching it sail over his head. That one had a real chance of going in, but just a little bit too high. That's been the story of the game so far for both teams, even though Hudson has a goal. I mean, They have just been laying it on thick against DC Everest, and DC Everest is starting to get more chances, but they just seem to be so close, but not close enough. And both of these teams realize that as we head into the latter half of the game, in the home stretch, not many other chances that you're going to get. As Sam Ross here looking for his own chance. Big first touch on that one. Doesn't really go well for him. And that one sails out of bounds after Tygo Kelly trying to get it towards the middle, towards the net. So now the kick is sent towards midfield. Hudson looking to win it back. One Hudson man versus 3 Evergreens. And the Evergreens will win it, but it was close there to being a one-man show for Chase MacArthur. Being really aggressive tonight so far with his plays as Sam Ross finds the ball, gives it to Prater. Prater now looking for any sort of opportunity for his teammates. He'll give it to Braden Miller. Miller will move it up there to Ryan Muthaden. Muthaden has been solid tonight for the Raiders, but he hasn't really had the goal-scoring chances that he usually has in games. As Luke Johnson will give it up to Colton Prater, and that one sails wide and over the net. And just another goal that is way too far off target for this Raider squad. So now the kick over towards the midfield. Hudson wins it once again. That's got to be like a 80% success rate tonight for Hudson. They have just been winning those 50-50s towards the midfield that are being sent off by the defenders and goalkeeper, as that one takes an awkward bounce. MacArthur trying to set it over. That one hits the post, and Hudson looking to go up 2-0 once again. They can't quite get it. Paul Phillipson with another opportunity. MacArthur had a really fantastic shot on net, and that one just hits the post. Ty Treader was not ready for it, and as indicated by tonight, he is ready for almost every single shot, so that could have been a real chance for the Raiders, and a corner kick will be designated to Hudson. Now Hudson moving it in, taking a shorter approach on the corner kick. Prater fighting for every single inch. And Hudson with it. Another shot on net. That one hits the side of it. Just another wide shot there from Hudson. And with those wide shots, or shots over the crossbar, it's either way too high or it's just too low right into the waiting arms of the goalkeeper, or it's just, not even really on net. So now about 10 minutes left to go in this match as DC Everest looking to student section there on the bottom for Hudson, getting a little bit rowdy. And for DC Everest, it'll be number 16 checking in.
Into the game for the Evergreens, number 16, Jordan Fowler.
Jordan Thau there checking in for his first time as a substitute for this Evergreen squad. Now Colton Prater moving it across the midfield, looking for Paul Phillipson, finds Paul Phillipson, gives it back over to Colton Prater. He finds Tygo Kelly making a good run, but DC Everest just able to sniff it out right away. Not much time to waste here tonight, as the waning minutes of this one looking like Hudson's going to secure it. Could be with a second goal, but it won't be, as that was a tough shot to make there for Hudson, and it won't go in, but they are awarded a corner kick. So now Prater will look to send it. He is the designated corner kicker for this Raiders squad. He sends it towards the middle to MacArthur, over MacArthur's head, and now DC Everest looking to start some offense. That one will go right to Braden Miller, and Miller will control it as Prater with it. Prater moves it over to the right side. Hudson with a good opportunity. Now, oh, the Hudson player takes a tumble. And the side judge calling that one a foul, but the head ref doesn't. And Hudson is frustrated with those calls. And they've been going DC Everest's way, but they haven't really been going well for Hudson, as that one is a attempted through ball by Sam Ross. It just goes right to the waiting arms of Ty Treader. And abysmal passing there from DC Everest, leading his guy way too far behind. And now Hudson with another throw-in. Prater trying to open it up for his teammates, and it ends up in Sam Ross's foot. Sam Ross, not necessarily a big or intimidating guy, but that one hits the crossbar on that one. And it seems like the ball is just magnetic to those posts here tonight. I mean, it just seems like whatever shot they take that is over the ground is just hitting the post or going a little bit too far. So now Hudson looking for another opportunity. They've got it on the right flank. Hudson taking it a little bit slower this time. They've got Chase MacArthur in the middle there, and Muthaden was waiting, but instead they'll get a throw-in. Tygo Kelly will take it for Hudson. So if this score holds, it looks like the 11th seed will go home back to Wausau with a disappointing loss in this tournament, and Hudson will live to fight another round in this soccer playoff. But now Prater with it. You can just tell it's Prater from the way that he moves. Tough challenge there from DC Everest. Ref with another no call. Luke Johnson trying to fight for the ball, but instead Paul Phillipson wins it. And it has been frustrating for the refs. But that one, Muthaden draws a foul there, and a long-awaited foul is called, a yellow card on the goalkeeper. So if DC Everest is able to pull this one out, their starting goalkeeper will not be able to play the next round. It is unlikely, though, that they will pull this out. They've only got about 6 minutes left to go here in this one. It's going to take a miracle to win this one in regulation or in overtime. And Hudson Raider fans doing their part as makeshift refs here tonight, as they trying to make calls for the refs here, as the refs are having a conference here, looking to make sure that the call that they made was right. And 16 will check in for the Raiders. Colton Prater with an opportunity to boot it in, or Luke Johnson. We'll see which one will elect to take the free kick. Only about 24 yards from the net. They've got DC Everest has a wall set up. We'll see how mighty it is. John runs over it. Prater shoots it wide of the net, just a little bit far to the left. And now in the 84th minute of play, it was not hit wide by Colton Prater. They deemed that a corner kick will be awarded to the Hudson Raiders. As Colton Prater goes down on that one. We'll see if it's a serious injury. Oh, wait a minute here. Oh my goodness. The Raider faithful is not happy And understandably so. This is a rough night for this referee. This is this is hard to watch. It really
Into the
is.
game for the Raiders, number 23, Connor Johnson.
Wow.
That was a red card, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was a yellow card and another yellow card. So Prater's out. That is unbelievable. Gonna be a long night for Hudson. This might, or for these referees. Oh, this is tough.
Back into the game for the Raiders, number 21, Colton Prater.
Prater will head back in, I guess. I don't know. Braden Miller with it, trying to get it up. Good move there from Nick Thompson. Oh, and Chase MacArthur with a fantastic move, looking to go up 2-0 and put this game to bed. And he can't quite put the nail in the coffin, as that one is snuffed away. But Sam Ross trying to dribble it, but he dribbles it out of bounds. Sam Ross trying to waste some time there. You can clearly see that. He was kind of shielding his opponent from the ball there. And the sand is running out in the hourglass here tonight for DC Everest. Even with so many calls going their way tonight, they haven't really had a lot of offensive opportunities. And they haven't put any points on the scoreboard. It is still a lousy goose egg for this Evergreen squad. So now, only about 4 minutes left to go.
Into the game for the Evergreens, number 3, Dave Carter.
Second time for
Hudson
Carter
Raiders,
checking in here
number
tonight.
23, Connor Johnson.
Connor Johnson will check in for the second time tonight. So time is running out. Seems like Hudson will hold on to this lead. They're going to look to extend it here, as that one is crossed and that is over the net. And even if Hudson pulls out this win here, might be one of the most frustrating wins I think a team could have this season, as MacArthur there with a chance. Treader there cleaning it up, trying to get some sort of opportunity for DC Everest. Good move there from Knutson. But Hudson is just too strong on the back end. Foul is called. And that's a yellow. That is a yellow on Knutson. Yeah, that was a pretty obvious foul there. The arm extension and everything, the whole 9 yards on that one. Almost sent him 9 yards the way he pushed him. Now number 2 will check in. Second time.
Into the game for the Evergreens, number 2, Connor Schomer.
So the sophomore midfielder, Connor Schomer, will sub in here. Joey Grickus looking, he's on standby for substitutions. And now Chase MacArthur gets an opportunity, puts it too far past Paul Phillipson. Paul just wasn't in the right place at that point. Tough miscommunication there. In the 88th minute of play, we'll have another substitute as Knutson will check back in.
Number 7, Tamarat Knutson. And for the Raiders, number 10, Joey Grickus.
Joey Grickus, that'll be the second time he's checking in the waning minutes here of this one. And that one will just softly roll out of bounds. And Braden Miller will send it in there for Hudson. That one is hit onto the bench. And now Connor Johnson with it has an opportunity to just let that one roll out. Johnson shielding his defender from the ball. We've got about 88 minutes in just over 88 minutes in. Johnson there doing some good work there for the midfield. And now Chase MacArthur with it. Knutson once again just, knocking down these Hudson forwards like they're dominoes. And that one there, a high ball affair right now as Johnson will send it on net, and that one hits the crossbar once again. Oh my goodness. Multiple times Hudson has come so close to just sneaking it past Treader. And oh my, this is tough. Hudson should probably be up 5-0 at this point, but they just haven't been able to put it in the back of the net. Chase MacArthur with it now. He's being swarmed by DC Everest players. And Hudson knows it, that they've probably got this win locked up. Student section going a little bit loud. I mean, not really loud, but now. Fans are starting to stand up. DC Everest with one last prayer. They'll send it off into the midfield into treacherous territory. And DC Everest comes up with the ball. This is their last chance to do something. They've got a good opportunity. Sending it in. 5 seconds left. DC Everest puts it on net. That one's over. And that will end the game. DC Everest is sent home. What a disappointing loss for the Evergreen squad. But Hudson is able to squeak by, get this victory. What an exhausting game. I mean, a well-earned victory for Hudson. Tough loss to swallow there for the Evergreens. That was tough to watch, but it was fun to broadcast. And from Brian Mose and Chuck Bublitz would probably say this too. But thank you for joining us to watch this very good and physical affair. We will see you. And we will see you in the next round of the playoffs against Kimberly or Bayport.